Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before we begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Zuhur, the student of Islamic Education Department of Maulana Malik Ibrahim State Islamic University, Malang. As you can see on the screen, our topic today is Islamic Character Education. I will begin the presenting the concept of character education. Then I will continue by explaining method Islamic character education, and finally I will explain role of state, society, and the media in character education. My presentation will take about 10 minutes. I will share a copy of the PowerPoint slide via WhatsApp group, and if you have any question, you may ask via WhatsApp group after the presentation is over. According to an article I read recently, the issue of character education is becoming a trend in Indonesia. Why does this happen? Because the biggest problem of Indonesia and all countries in the world is actually not merely economic, political, social, and cultural. The base of the crisis is actually crisis of values and character. There have been many seminars and discussions were held to discuss this matter. Several books on character education has also been written. The Indonesian government itself, through the Ministry of Education and Culture, Kemendikbud, has launched a national education-based character education. In this part of my presentation, I would like to tell you about the concept of character education. The character education is a system of planting the character values of the school community, which includes knowledge, awareness or volition, and action to implement those values. In character education in school, all of the component education stakeholders should be involved, including the component of education itself, is the curriculum, learning and assessment, treatment or management subject, school management, the implementation of the activities or co-curriculum activities, empowerment infrastructure, financing, and working to show the school ethos on environment. According to the policy guidelines of character education in the Ministry of Education and Culture of the Indonesian people that either have 18 characters excel, namely religious, honest, tolerance, discipline, hardworking, creative, independent, democratic, curiosity, the spirit of nationality, love motherland, rewarding assessment, friendly or communicative, love speech, joy of reading, environmental care, social concern, and responsibility. Let's move on the next point. I will continue by explaining method Islamic character education. There are several methods essential in character education in Islam. Muhammad Atiyah al-Brashi, an expert on Islamic education, stated that there are at least 3 methods of moral education in Islam, namely, first, education directly, that is by using the instruction, advice, mention the benefits and dangers of something. Advice can be given in the form of word of wisdom, such as the following: 1. Manners are the best legacy. 2. Good manners are a true friend. And 3. Intellect is the most useful treasures. Second, moral education indirectly by way of suggestion, as dictated poems which contain wisdom to children, preventing them from reading poems empty. And third, take advantage of the third interest of the children in the context of moral education. For example, they students to imitate the sayings of the people closely associated with them teachers. Therefore, philosophers Islam expect every teacher decorated with a good moral, noble, and avoid any disgraceful. Finally, I will explain the role of state, society, and the media in character education. Role of the state. The primary role of the state in the course of which is to formulate and implement relevant policies through various ministries which pass through the office or regional office in the area. Ministry of Education and Culture and the Ministry of Religious Affairs is already set some policies related to character education, but the portion of attention on the policy was not adequate. In addition to the above two ministries, the actual character education is the responsibility of the ministries, such as Ministry of Administrative Reform or Kemenpan. Role of society. The primary role of the community is to create conditions conducive to the application of noble character socially. Here, the most important is the involvement of community leaders and religious leaders. Da'wah and lectures religious figures should not be done only the mosque or musola, which is where the good, but also in many instances, or can be packaged creatively through various ways and means. Role of the media. In a nation of character education, the media certainly play an important role, both the mass media and electronic. Unfortunately, the current media developed over materialistic capitalistic paradigm, without considering the negative effect on the character of the community can the show violent, celebrities information display, very little good exemplary, and so on. Lack of parental guidance when children watch television and weak government control of media content to be fertile ground for seeding negative characters young generation. As I mentioned before, the biggest problem of Indonesia and all countries in the world is actually not merely economic, political, social, and cultural. The base of all the crises is actually crisis of values and character. Let me briefly summarize what I have said so far. National education is not only aimed at generating human intelligence and skilled, but also of noble character. This is realized through the introduction of 18 characters excel in school. In the Islamic perspective, character education paired with akhlaq or Islamic ethic education. Among the important characters are education directly, that is by using the instruction, guidance, advice, mention the benefits and dangers of something, moral education indirectly, by way of suggestion, and take advantage of the trend and trace of the children in the context of moral education. The government and the mass media also play a role in supporting the education of character. Well, this brings me to the end of my presentation. Before I stop, let me go through my main point again. All parties must be actively involved in character education toward a civilized and dignified Indonesia, from the level of individuals, families, communities, institutions of formal education, up to the leaders of the nation and of course the clergy and community leaders. Hopefully, this presentation, character education, does not stop at mere discourse, but immediately followed up with concrete action from all of us. Okay, thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.